back to Small Engines Galore, where in this video, we're going to be fixing that pig right there. The weather's pretty rainy and windy outside today. So in the last Beast 1 video, we took this thing through the mud hole and bent and broke some stuff. That would be this front axle bracket here. You can see that it's bent. It used to look like that, and now it's folded up against the back of the frame. What we're going to be doing today is removing all this front axle piece and stiffening up that area so this doesn't happen again. Today I'm really tired, so you're going to hear me say a lot. So yeah, let's get started by pulling the front axle bolt out, and we will disconnect this steering arm, which I just realized is on backwards, and that's why we've been rubbing the tire there. Even with these small tires, it's rubbing. Okay folks, once I pull that bolt out, that axle should just drop on the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. There's the bolt. There's the axle. Now that the axle is out, we can go ahead and check just how bent are these brackets. I realize that they are not as bent on this side. You can see right there it is bent, but it's not anywhere near as bad as on the other side. Okay, so on the driver's side, this end is bent even worse than the passenger side. Guys, to pull that front axle out, it took me less than 5 minutes. So any of you guys with a Craftsman riding mower, that style or whatever, it's 5 minutes. Or if it's a 4-bolt carrier, like what would have come in the Beast 2 originally, or anything basically 95 and newer, I think, maybe 96 and newer. I know that a 96 has the 4-bolt carrier. It's even easier. You're just 4 bolts on each side and the whole thing will drop out. Okay, here's the brackets. This front one over here is sort of straight. It's still got a couple of bends. It was pulled back pretty hard when this bracket bent because the whole axle could move underneath here when it was flexed down or sitting at ride height. Sorry about the super shaky camera. I'm just gonna sit down. Yeah, take a look at that bracket right here. It's just super bent, so I may have to figure out if I can pull this bracket out because it doesn't look like it's welded in. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research and see if that comes out. But I want to show you the brackets that I made up to stiffen that area so that it doesn't happen again. Okay folks, here's the new axle brace that I cut out on our CNC plasma table. Right over here. Sorry, your camera's not in view. It's in there. Anyways, here's the new brackets that I cut out. This is how it will look when it's assembled. Minus that they'll be welded. So this bracket is one piece, this one's another piece, and there's 2 of these triangle gussets per side. So this is just enough for the front or just enough for the back. So the DXF file that I made has all of them cut out. This is just half the pieces that we cut out. And you can use that file for free if you want. Please just ask, like and subscribe to this video, and go ahead and use this for free. I know the file is not perfect, so the width on this bracket is not perfect. Nothing on this bracket is really perfect, but it's a start. This bracket works as well. And they mount either in the original position of that bracket that's all bent up, or we straighten that bracket out and weld this underneath it to box the frame. I'm not sure. I'm probably just going to go with straighten out the original brackets and weld up, but we're going to have to see how it goes. Okay, so here's what comes with that DXF file. Brackets for these 2 brackets, and these 4 triangles. They should all fit together, except for you're going to have to modify something in these brackets in the DXF file, because these slots were actually supposed to line up with those ones and they just didn't. So move these over to like there, and these bolts have it so you can design up your own L brackets or whatever to fit this into any mower you want. That's why I haven't included L brackets in this design. And again, it's free to any subscriber. So if you subscribe, you can use this file to make brackets for your mower, and I'm going to show you how it all goes together right now. Okay guys, don't mind my messy workbench. You can see in this corner over here. I'm going to show you how these brackets go together. So that's how it looks when it's assembled, and we're just going to take the axle bracket, the actual brace, and the two triangles. All you're going to do is stick the long side with the cutouts on the ends of them. You'll be able to identify it, and you can shove it in this slot. There's enough room, you can move it up and down to suit whatever ride height you want within reason, like within 3/8 of an inch, in case you guys are really wondering any of that. Sorry I bumped your camera. So you're going to stick these two in place and center this on there. Zap, zap, if this doesn't fall over, but we're going to pretend that it stayed up. You're going to weld on this seam and this seam underneath and on the inside if you want of these triangles. That's how they go together. Alright guys, I went and took the welder back for a little bit. Alright guys, I'm just going to tack those together on the hood, just because I can't get the welder past the Beast 2 to the bench. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Guys, I realize that is a lot more angle than this. I really don't care. People have different priorities than me, I know that. So they would prefer that one. Anybody who wants their angles to be even close, which even that one's out compared to that one. But both of these brackets are together, so we can go ahead and test fit them underneath the mower right now. Welcome back everybody. This is the next day, so it's not raining outside, it's nice out. I'm literally in a sweater and hot, so this is good. I just went ahead and welded in that front bracket last night, and I want to show you how it's going before the back bracket goes in. I want to get that on video because it was kind of interesting doing the front one, getting it all level and everything. Okay guys, so I have the front axle in the front bracket temporarily. It's not tight or any of that. There's no back plate in the frame. So this axle is actually sitting level because of some spacers that I made. But I wanted to show you just how much flex this thing has before the spindle hits the ground. Let me show you. There's to one side. There's to the next. It's not anywhere near the bump stop. Okay guys, here's another view you guys can see the bump stop on the passenger side and the axle on the passenger side. I'm gonna go ahead and put the driver's side spindle on the ground, and I'll show you just how much flex this thing has once the driver's side spindle hits the ground. This is not the full flex of the axle. Okay, so that's touching the ground. There's still a bunch of wiggle room there. Okay, and the one thing that I did do off camera, aside from welding that plate in or starting to, I still got to weld under the backside, is I straightened these brackets the best I could. If you rewind in the video, you'll see just how bent they were. Now they're pretty straight. They still have a little bit of an angle right there, but it's pretty good. And I made sure that this axle sits perfectly straight in there. Even though I didn't do any measuring for those front brackets and the triangles are off and all that, we're not even going to worry about that because this sits perfectly straight between the two. It sits perfectly straight. It's going to work perfect. And you can see that there's no back plate in here. So I'm going to have to fix that by starting cleaning up this backside and welding. So I'm going to get into that right now. And of course I have my best pal Board here today, like usual. He's the best shop cat. He just comes and sits in the shop and watches me work for hours on end. Also, I went ahead and welded this seam fully, and this seam partially. You can see that there's a hole in my weld right there. I'll patch that up. The rest of this is solid, as well as that it got welded on the sides right there, on this side, and that side. Okay folks, here's this back bracket just sucked in on the bolt. Nothing is actually attached, but it's sitting fairly level right now. I'm gonna properly level it when I'm done with it. But I have to build brackets between here and the frame because I welded onto the factory brackets that were here. So I'm gonna have to weld a bracket through that hole and possibly that hole, plug weld, and then weld along this seam and on that seam on both sides. Okay, so how I plan to mount this back bracket to the frame is initially just by welding these chunks of square tube between the bracket and the frame to hold it up. It'll be like another triangular brace, and then I can build brackets off of that go to here, if I want to. Okay, so now it's tacked on. I'm gonna do the finished welding off camera. Alright folks, I went ahead and finished welding the seam on the driver's side and did the whole passenger side. I torqued everything down and stuck the big wheels on it. Here's the result. Okay folks, here's the result. I'm gonna go ahead and flex this thing out. Elliot's gonna be your cameraman. There's our flex without frame flex. There's with frame flex. Not frame flex. On its wheel. Let's try turning it. Doesn't want to flex. Okay. Steering column support is still broken. Turning this way though, we can still go this far. Okay guys, that concludes this video. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the mud hole on the next one. Or possibly we'll be fixing the back end first. But we'll see you in the mud hole in the next one.